Farmacy in Westport. And this is Ellyn Weitzman, who is our Director of Marketing and Partnerships. I'm a native of Fairfield County. I recently returned actually back in April, moved across the country, which had actually been in motion before the pandemic hit, and bought a home in Wilton and opened this new business in Westport. So I appreciate the opportunity to be here. I appreciate all of your time. I think your whole mission, empowering women, is really relevant, not only to me, to Ellyn, to Franny's in general, but I'm a recruiter professionally for the cannabis industry, and we really go out of our way to seek and to empower women to enter this industry. Professionals coming from a number of different industries, and we apply the same principle here within the Franny's brand, because our female founder, Franny Tacey, is the first female hemp farmer in 75 years. So she's all about empowering women. She's the founder of Women in Hemp. She did the TED Talk on hemp. She and her husband founded Franny's Farmacy back in 2017. And since then, they've created over 60 products under the brand. So we're a seed to shelf concept. We are cannabis hemp derived products. So a lot to know, and not here really to showcase Franny's so much as, talk about our experience in opening our store, what we've done in terms of activating, partnering, engaging the community, local businesses, other women, and Ellyn really kind of being a key critical component to making all of this happen. I am the owner operator, but I am behind the scenes, and I have really kind of let Ellyn go. And I know part of that, a big part of it, is relying on other women in the community, supporting other local business owners, influencers, and really just the everyday individual that may be seeking relief from our products or just looking for a destination to come hang. So we opened our doors June 18th. We were the first ribbon cutting since COVID, and really just gonna, I guess, kind of go through a number of different topics, and I'll turn it over to Ellyn here in just a moment. But as the title suggests, hemp wellness and actionable best practices for living a well-balanced life, which seems like a lot, but I think at the end of the day, we're all kind of in some defining moments of all of our lives and our children's lives and our families' lives. So for us, it's really just keeping it simple. We had already come up with the concept of bringing this concept to Westport, and we weren't going to let a pandemic slow us down. So we stayed the course, charged ahead. We're glad we did, because it's been a successful venture from the business side of things, but also an impactful one. And I think being able to really reach and resonate and support this community, and that's the broader Fairfield County, even Westchester, and a lot of folks coming up from New York and New Jersey. We're proud to be here and happy to be here. So I'll turn it over to Ellyn. I think we can kind of talk on a few of these topics, but I think just maybe giving an overarching overview of how she came into it and why she feels Franny's is special and what we're doing for the community. So
yeah, thank you, Griff.
Yeah, of course.
So I've been here now. We opened up almost 4 months ago, and in yoga, they say you have to live in the present, and it's very difficult when life is normal to live in the present. But I think that the virus has really forced us all to put one foot in front of the other every day and live in the present, because you really don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. I mean, you really have to walk the walk. This is the real deal. So here we are opening up a brick and mortar store during COVID. Then we had the looting that was going on, and then we had a tornado. And it was really like whack-a-mole. Every day there was something that we had to knock down. But we literally couldn't even think about anything else. We believed in what we were doing. We were passionate about the products we were selling. And like Griff said, being a female-oriented company, that it seems like everyone is really helping each other and really raising the bar for each other, because we are really all in this together. So this has been a real place of hope. I don't have to be here every day. I come running into work. My husband's like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to Franny's." We are on Church Lane, preach, and there's so much happiness and hopefulness and connection that's going on here, that it's an energy that is palpable and is building on each other. So like Griff said, We opened up. People are coming in slowly. We're demystifying, and Griff will talk about the products and really kind of educating people. We've become an education hub for people to come in and ask questions and have somebody to listen to so that they leave feeling smarter and more empowered. We sample things out safely, COVID friendly, and people come back again and again and again because the products really work. So this has been, again, a place of health and wellness, a place of self-care, which we all need to do. Griff can talk about why Franny's is different, because there are some CBD companies that are popping up around here, but we are different, and we'll get into that. We can talk about different products and delivery systems that would be right for you that you can try, and really about inspiring a community, connecting and supporting others, because we are all in this together. I feel very blessed to be here. I've never worked so hard in my life and been so busy, but it doesn't really feel like work because we are helping people. And just sort of as an offshoot, a new documentary just came out called CBD Nation that everybody should watch. And there are integrative doctors that we are going to be working with who will hopefully be here soon to talk to people. But what is going on with our children and the level of anxiety is off the charts. And a lot of parents are coming in with their kids, college students in particular, and we're helping them as well. So like HAYVN, we're going to have a community board. We're here to connect people and make people feel very comfortable coming into Franny's and knowing that we're giving them information that they can use to help them live a better, calmer, healthier life. So that's my shtick.
Thank you.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, that's good. I don't know if it makes sense maybe just to have some type of interactive format, or if you want us to go right into it. I'm here to, I guess, serve you guys and understand how we can. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's Teresa. I have a couple of questions actually. First of all, I love what you stand for. It's so in line with HAYVN. And I haven't seen your store, but I know whereabouts you are in Westport. And like you say, that is a real community in that area. It's really nice. A quick question, CBD Nation, is that out on a certain channel like Netflix or whatever, or?
Yeah, so Amazon Film.
Amazon
right?
Film
it's
and also
streaming.
on YouTube. You can. Yeah. It's for like $4. You can
Yeah,
watch it.
CBD Nation. So yeah, it's on streaming platforms. It just came out a few weeks back, I believe on the 25th.
Yeah.
And it's a documentary. It involves two brothers out west who are pioneers in the medical marijuana industry, and they were approached by a father who was really at his wit's end. I mean, truly, on the verge of suicide. Had a son that was very special needs, autistic, and nonverbal, and had a number, I mean, to the tune of like 140 seizures, grand mal seizures a day. He was faced with really the end of the road and was recommended actually by his mother to try cannabis. And he went into a medical marijuana dispensary and said, "Hey, I'm here, my kid, this is the end of the road for us. We need something to help." And they were really faced with an ethical decision at that point. This was a few years back, as to whether or not they're going to knowingly serve a father who's then going to go home and take that product to the child. Ultimately, they did in a tincture concentrated oil form, and just one dose, changed the whole course of this family's life, this son's life. His seizures went from 140 down to 0. And it's a story about how this father went and opened his own hemp shop. So, and then it does, like she mentioned, Dr. June Chin, who is here in the greater Fairfield County, New York City region. She's an integrative health doctor, and she's part of it. And we're in touch with her, and she's been doing some, work broadly in the industry with other brands. And it's just a special story that, gives a very high level overview of the potential of cannabis, and really at the kind of baseline of it, aside from the recreational use, and this is not hemp, right? I'm talking more in the context of cannabis, marijuana, how this initially started, but what it led to is hemp-derived CBD really being the key, the critical compound that has helped so many. So that's what we stand for.
Yeah.
Our products are all hemp derived. Nothing here in our brand, is psychoactive, gets you high. We do have trace amounts of THC, which is important for that whole plant effect. But our products and CBD hemp derived products are really for a number of different things. Relief from, many
anxiety,
different,
sleeplessness. I mean, people that have come into the store, they literally come in and they tell us what's going on with their lives. So
we walk, and real quickly to that note, we walk a fine line. We're not medical professionals. We cannot and do not make claims as a brand, as individuals working this industry. So it's really more about the studies. We have a resource in store that we use that's written by medical doctors. We walk a fine line between really just stating the facts and providing customer testimonials and feedback to understand what the best delivery and dosage is for that individual person. But we do get all sorts of people coming in and just seeking relief, and then they come back again, and that's really how we measure the difference.
Yeah, the proof is in the pudding. But we're here to help also demystify and answer any questions that you may have. CBD is not THC, so that right away there's a difference. Obviously, you can't get high from this. You can get tired from it if you take too much, but you can't overdose on it. So there's a lot of questions out there that people, they don't know. So we're here to answer that and make it easier for people to understand. And then we can even show you some of our products that we literally cannot keep in stock. And also, we use a lot of our products in foods. We add honey to baked breads, drizzling it on pizza. We have chocolates that people use, and they make s'mores with them. I mean, it doesn't just have to have, the reason that people take it is to just kind of relax and feel like you're giving yourself a hug. Franny always says that when you take CBD, people say, what do you feel like? It feels like you're giving yourself a hug, which we could all use right now because we can't do it to other people. So it's taking care of ourselves, trying to stay off of the hardcore drugs and the drinking that people have been doing a lot of. A lot of people are coming in, they want to stop taking Xanax, they don't want to drink every night. They're starting to incorporate CBD into their lives, starting slowly, building up. It's like figuring out what delivery system you feel comfortable with. Do you like putting it under your tongue? Do you like putting it on your skin? Do you like chewing a gummy? There's a lot out there, there's a lot to learn, and we're here to make it easy for you to understand and feel comfortable with.
Any other questions, or should we?
Yeah, I would say jump in with your five.
Definitely. So I'm going to just kind of go quickly through this. So, having a reference point of the different kind of topics of discussion. So starting with the first, where, I think going back to staying the course and, being an entrepreneur, already taking risks and thriving under pressure. That's just kind of who I am. And as I mentioned, I got into, and how I came across Franny's, I recruit professionally for the cannabis industry and had heard a lot of buzz about Franny's, and I didn't know who Franny was either. And it's not a name you hear often, and certainly not one that you hear often in the cannabis industry. But I was inspired to learn more. They had just raised capital on Start Engine, which is a platform for unregulated startup emerging industries. Cannabis being one of them. And they were really the first kind of success story in the hemp industry, able to raise some substantial funding from kind of more of a crowdfunding resource, even though it was an actual Reg D offering. So I came across them, I was inspired, and I cold called them. And Franny, since then, has become a mentor, a close friend, someone I really rely on just to give insight into where this is all going and trying to have the best impact we can. So for us, again, it was not a question of if, it was really just a matter of when. Our opening did get pushed maybe just by a few weeks, but since then we opened the doors and the people have come and they've been comfortable. And in the early days when we first opened, it was right after the shelter in place had been lifted. And, we were the first place that people had come in months, and
Yeah.
they were willing to take that risk because they needed a relief. So
Yeah.
over time, we've seen a consistent kind of increase in the flow of people and people becoming more comfortable, as we probably all experience in our own lives. So that was a no-brainer. The entrepreneurial side of it, and really kind of riding the coattails of what Franny has created in the brand is what resonated most with me. I don't want to be showcased. I'm not all that interesting myself, but I'm here to empower women and to really support the mission of Franny. So I think for me, it's a nice structure, and I think for any entrepreneur, and we're going to be expanding, and we're already looking at other locations, north up in Fairfield, and maybe south below us in as far as Greenwich, just going long term. So we're actually on the hunt for female owner operators, female franchisees that may have interest in joining the brand in partnership with us, or doing it on their own. But that's something that resonates, and Franny is all about women. So I think that's a relevant, certainly, topic as well.
Totally. And you should definitely, if you have time, you should watch her on her TED Talk too.
Yeah.
They call her the hippie in high heels. She is a real dynamo and very, very bright. She worked in the pharmaceutical industry for a lot of years. She went to college, I think at Arizona State, in agriculture. So she's got like a nice blend, and
but
she's
the
a business person.
pharmaceutical piece is important because she did. So she grew up on a farm. She was actually a forest ranger. She was an educator. She has graduate degrees in both, I think, forestry and education. She was a teacher, and she got into pharmaceuticals, and actually, ironically, was selling a respiratory drug for GSK for 12 years, national sales, marketing background, but kind of saw behind the scenes how pharmaceutical companies really went after the masses, right? And whether or not you were a good candidate, it was really just all about marketing the brand. So for her, they cashed in their 401ks and bought the piece of land in 2012, and they put everything at stake, and they have not looked back, and they've now created a nationally recognized brand. So, CBD, hemp aside, I think, this is what they've created is right in line with what's important to me, what's important to Ellyn, what's important to the rest of us here at Franny. So, CBD, self-care during challenging times, like Ellyn had touched on, the products do work. And, there's a lot of CBD mania out there, right? And it's tough to follow. It's tough to understand what's legit, what's not, what's the difference between this brand and what's the difference between other brands. And as long as they're quality tested product that can be traced to the source, which is what Franny's is all about, I think they're worth considering. Franny's is not the only one. We are different in that, we chose to keep it all in-house. So we cultivate organic hemp, we process it, we manufacture 60 products, we own our distribution, we own our retail, and we have a large e-commerce business as well. So if someone gets to know the Franny's brand and starts trying our products, they have a resource to come back and ask specifically, why is this ingredient? And all of our ingredients, by the way, are organic derived. They are, for the most part, with exception to a few products where there's reason for it, they are plant-based botanicals that are actually grown on Franny's farm. So, we're here to, like Ellyn said, offer a delivery for everyone, whether it's edible, tinctures, topicals.
Even for your dogs, and for your dogs, for babies. I mean, we have a full, you walk into the store and there's a lot to look at. So we try to, break it down and make it simple and make it comfortable for people.
And what we did here that's different from any other Franny's is we wanted more of an interactive experience. So when you come into our store, it's not going to be counter service where everything's behind. You get to interact with our products. We've got all a custom retail display, which is really kind of set up like an apothecary of sorts. So you can see all the products, and it's an enjoyable experience, and we are a resource center. So the farm to pharmacy difference with Franny's is why they got into this business. So they, like many others, a couple years back started seeing CBD come on the scene, and it was tough to follow. And they understand the benefits, but how do you choose a product? And then if a product only has topicals, how then do you choose maybe a tincture line, because you know that absorption from putting under your tongue is going to be more beneficial? They came into it and said, we want to do the seed to shelf or farm to table concept, which you see in other industries as well. So that really is the Franny's difference.
Yeah. And I will add, because I know these stories are very important and they're great to take away with, the testimonials that people have shared with us. And I'll just give you two of them because I think that resonates a lot. I know it does with people that come in the store. So we have, I'm just showing you, it looks like from Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. We've got the golden ticket. We've got the gold chocolate, CBD chocolate bar that has about 12 pieces. You break off a little piece, you put it under your tongue. We had somebody during COVID for 2 months on your tongue. We have a woman who had a migraine for 2 months. She could not get out of bed. And a friend of mine asked me about our chocolates. We delivered them to her friend.
The first day we opened.
The first day we opened. Yeah. And she took it, she let it sit on her tongue, and she texted her friend the next day and said, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I finally slept for the first time in 2 months. I called Franny. She's like, Ellyn, there are no coincidences, with her Southern accent. The products really work. Our gummies. I mean,
Well, to that note, which I think is important for this audience, women actually have more cannabinoid receptors than men, which is, really just due to the reproductive system. But that's important to know. And I think why women have been such an important customer for us and really the industry at large. So that's from a physiological standpoint. We all have these endocannabinoid systems, which you can get all sorts of deep into if you want to understand. But at the end of the day, we have receptors that are designed to receive cannabinoids that we produce internally, but also can be found in plants, specifically the cannabis plant. So it's not by accident. It's not coincidental. That's the reason why this plant has so much potential. So, but anyway, sorry to interrupt. Back to the gummies.
It's a science. I mean, there's so much that we did that people don't know. And once they know it, and it just, you can see their shoulders relax and they're open to hearing more. I'm just going to show you. These are our gummies that literally we cannot keep in stock. And they are
convenient, quick delivery.
And not only that, they're 10 milligrams. They don't taste like candy. They have algae and they're made with spirulina. Everything we make is with botanicals that are grown on the farm. And they work. I mean, at the end of the day, they work. A friend of mine came in, they take 2 every night. They sleep through the night. It just helps people with everything that's going on. Yes.
Quick question. So you talk about the gummies and the chocolate. What are their top 3 things that they help with? You mentioned sleep. Is it relaxation? Is it muscle relaxation? What do they do?
Yeah, so cannabis in general has been well studied, and a lot of good information that the compounds in the plant do help, from everything from anxiety to pain management to sleep management to overall just wellness. So I don't suffer from any issues with sleep, luckily, and I don't have any chronic pain. I take the gummies every morning just for a pick-me-up. And I don't consume alcohol, I don't consume pharmaceuticals of any sort. So I've got a good measure of kind of how I feel. For me, it takes the edge off and just allows me to kind of stay upbeat, and it gives me actually energy. For others, it may have a different effect, and that's the whole key to dosage with cannabis. So depending what you're looking to resolve or kind of alleviate, the delivery matters. So for sleep, edibles are good because they, like any other food that may be digested, has to go through your GI tract, which is going to take longer than if you were to inhale cannabis, or if you were to even put it sublingually under your tongue. So the half-life, or the ability to kind of stay asleep, is good, and people use edibles often for that. We have a family that comes in, and it's a mom, a daughter, and 2 daughters. The mom comes in and she says, I take 1 a day in the morning, and it takes the edge off, and I have tons of energy all day. The other daughter says, I take 2 during the day, and it gives me relief from my anxiety, and I don't have any issues with sleep. Whereas the youngest daughter, she takes 3 and it puts her right to sleep, and she'll never take it during the day because it actually makes her sleepy. So to each their own. If it's just to take the edge off, 1 does the trick. If you're looking to speak to chronic pain, if you're looking to alleviate just real chronic stress or sleeplessness, then you're probably getting into like 2 or 3 territory. Once you get beyond that, it's the efficacy or the effectiveness of the compound is really kind of exhausted. Like you'll only eat more and then kind of go to sleep, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Whereas the sublingual tincture is more of a baseline daily under your tongue. And that's really the baseline. So no one should just consume CBD in gummy form, right? I mean, that's all good, but that's really more kind of situation or site specific. The tincture is really kind of the baseline where you want to get to the bottom of why are you anxious? Why aren't you sleeping? Why are you in pain? You're not going to get that long term with edibles like you would with a sublingual tincture.
And just another fact is that what they say when you take CBD, you don't get a head high, like you don't feel stoned, you get a body high. You feel, you feel
And it's
relaxed.
actually sometimes what you don't feel, they say, with hemp.
Yeah.
Whereas, the cousin of hemp, if you inhale, eat, or ingest in any form, you're going to have psychoactivity almost immediately. Whereas hemp, it's a slower onset, but it stays with you, and it is a body relaxant. So a lot of different benefits. But for those that feel great, maybe in great health, maybe have no issues, don't have anxiety, kudos to you. I'd love to maybe connect and understand what you're doing. But this is a wellness aid as well, where people have incorporated, just like anything else, into their regimen. And it may just include a daily sublingual tincture just for overall wellness. And you're not necessarily feeling or not feeling anything. It's just there, and you're going to live a better life from, all the.
I just wanted to, it's coming up on the time, and I want to make sure that people know how to connect with you and maybe dive deeper into some of these conversations of what CBD,
Yeah, we're here 7 days a week from 10 to 7. We've got a full staff. Ellyn is popping in and out. She's here a lot. I'm here myself. LinkedIn is a great professional way to connect with myself. Again, I am a recruiter for the cannabis industry. I'm a recruiter just by profession and have been since I got out of college. So if I can be a resource for anyone that may be out of work or looking to enter the industry or make a change within the industry, or just talk to someone, I do a lot of executive level placement, but all the way down, and I'm here as a resource. From a Franny's perspective, our doors are always open.
And I'll give you my number. I'm here a lot. I'm usually here, just so you know, if any of you want to come in, to play it safe between like 11 and 3 almost every day.
Yep.
I'm here on the weekends. We've created some beautiful partnerships with Weitzman Town Farm. I know we'll be doing more with HAYVN. We are here to help.
We're sponsoring the drive-in
at the Remarkable Theater.
Yeah, on the 25th as well. So our social media, which actually Amber, who is part of this, manages gracefully. It keeps up to date on all of our partnerships. We're happy to add HAYVN to that list and do anything we can to support not only women, but the community at large. So thank you very much, all of you. And